Hey, what is up, everybody? It's Matt with Mikey Designs, and Shen, the shop gnome, is here.
Yo!
Give us one moment. As usual, we are fashionably late.
You are
And
fashionably late. I was trying to get this started at 6:30.
yeah, however, I was on the phone with a client right up till the last minute, and we'll talk about that. So just give me one moment while I get Shannon's camera all set up.
Because apparently it's going to be a permanent thing now, I guess. You know what you
Nothing
should
wrong with
do?
that.
You know what you should do? Because you should have seen him. He was going, mouthing, and we're live. And I was just like, you should do the cool thing of the 3, 2, 1, silent.
Oh, should I do that?
Yeah, that's cooler.
Let's feel it.
Do I look okay?
You look great.
Am I pretty?
Very pretty.
Hmm. So I guess for the moment, I'm gonna be entertaining you guys while we wait for people to join, and I have nothing to talk about except I accidentally. Oh, we should talk. We should tell them about how we tried out the Apollo shock collar on ourselves
Oh, yeah.
because I'm probably gonna end up saying this again while we're actually on live, but Matt wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. And so I was like, you know what? Fine. Give it to me. I'm going to do it. Shit, that thing hurts.
I did do it.
Yeah, you did it after I did it.
I already know how it feels. It's a shock.
All 4 voltages of it, like the 25, the 50, the 75, and the 100. We went to each one of those things, and I held it in my hand, and each time I went, Wah! And he was like, fine, I'll do it. And Apollo, that's enough. Sorry, the dog's trying to dig.
It goes from 0 to 100, so.
Well, we did 25% increases. That's fine.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, we sure
so
did.
we had fun doing that.
That was a lot of fun,
Indigenous!
wasn't it? Trying to see
That's
where
Apollo
my-
saying hi, not growling. Or actually, it might be him because he thinks there's something under my desk that isn't there. Because Apollo.
Hey, what's up, Indigenous? Yeah, he's in a playful mood right now. He always tends to be in a playful mood when we just kind of need him to be a lazy dog.
He pees on our clients.
He peed on the,
He peed on our interviews too.
yeah. It was the
That's
first
enough.
person. He peed on their foot. I was just like, I'm not even going to say anything. Right across her shiny shoes.
But that's actually something that we're going to
Sorry,
talk
Michelle.
about later.
If you're watching, which I'm not sure if you are. Sorry,
The
the
only,
dog peed
the
across
only one
your
that
foot.
has a chance at watching is Chris.
You think, oh yeah, 'cause she does the YouTube thing, doesn't she?
Yeah. Okay, so Indigenous finally got my labels in to sew on the shirts and stickers to be sold on the Mule Days event here on 4/25/24, 2019.
Oh,
Super
that's
stoked.
awesome.
Woo!
Hey, you'll have to send
Denzel!
over.
Oh! I promised I would give a shop gnome shout out to Denzel. Denzel's the one that I've been talking to a lot today about. He's starting his own clothing line.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Denzel, what's up from the shop gnome? Woo! There's your special shout out.
Hey, Indigenous, send us a picture of those sewn in labels. I'd like to take a look at that.
Yeah, and because I've had actually a couple of clients. I think actually Denzel was asking about sewn in labels today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so Indigenous, I'd love to pick your brain on that a little bit.
Yeah, that's
Matthew!
it's one of those things
Shop
where
gnome shout out. I promised 2 people. Shop gnome shout out to Matthew. Shut up.
What's up, Matt?
Yeah, that's a mouthful, actually. Shop gnome shout out to Denzel and Matthew. Okay. I think that's all I promised today.
Yeah, we've yet to really dive into the whole sewn in tag thing. I think a lot of it just has to do with both of us. Neither one of us are good. Well, I've never really worked with a sewing machine, so
I tried to sew
it could be
leather once.
disastrous.
That's about as far as my experience goes. I tried to sew. There was a hole in a leather vest. I tried to sew it. My mom just laughed at me.
Although
So I'm not a good sewer.
we need to find a good source for sewn in labels. So if any of you out there do have a good source at a reasonable price, and then we can add that to our list of services that we do. Because currently we get asked about it, and it's like it's not a service that we offer.
And then
currently.
the people we outsource like other things like that too. They're just like, no.
Oh yeah. Everybody else
Just like, no.
we speak to as well, they don't do it.
And then the patches, the frickin' patches. We finally find one person to do the patches for one of our clients, and then they're like, they'll be ready next Wednesday.
Oh god, yeah, they've been
They'll
putting
be
us
ready
off
Friday.
left and
Maybe
right.
Monday.
And then
Today comes. Can you pick them up tomorrow? Can I pick them up today? No.
yeah, that puts us in a situation where we're constantly.
I'm telling you.
And he knows too, because we're honest with him. We're just like, hey, that's not something we do in house. We don't have any control. This is the first time we've gone with this person, and they just keep setting us back. And
yep. Matt makes me tell him though, because he gets grumpy with Matt, but he's nice to me.
yeah, oh, he's full on dude grumpy with me when things aren't going smooth. So I'm like,
but he's all Southern gentleman with me.
Smooth them over.
Yeah, Shannon, you talked to him. I'm like, I don't wanna.
Okay, so I think we have enough peeps here we're just gonna go ahead and switch things over, and we'll get this party started. Isn't that right, Shannon?
Yeah. Yeah.
How's it go?
That part? Or the Scarlet, yeah.
Okay, well, let's do this.
Alright. Let me get my hair out of my face. Hi, guys.
Hey, what's up? It's me, Matt.
And I'm the trusty shop gnome
There's,
sidekick. Whee!
Shannon over.
Boop, boop, choo!
It's funny because my finger's pointing the other way. Shannon's right there.
Apparently by the wall.
I wish my finger would just reach into the next camera shot and then poke you right in the nose. So
that would irritate me so much.
how has everybody's week gone this past week? How's everybody's weekend? Any new news? Any new pieces of equipment? New experiences? Let us know over in the chat. I'm going to have to use my finger. It's always backwards. So let us know in the chat what's going on with you guys. And we're going to talk here in a moment about what's going on with us and what we've kind of gone through. Even today's been.
Today.
We're going to talk about it. If Shannon doesn't talk about it, I'll talk about it.
I think I've talked enough today. After this, I'm gonna be a mime.
I'll
You're just gonna
talk
have
about
to
it.
figure out what I'm saying after we're done with this whole thing. I'm just gonna be a mime, and I'm going to give you signals as to what I'm thinking, feeling, and want.
Yeah, I'll talk about it because it's kind of in the forefront of my mind. Give me one moment. I'm gonna adjust something.
That means he wants to hit the vape.
No, it does not.
Alright. This thing makes me cross-eyed.
There we go. So your audio's coming in just a little low, just a little bit, at least on the meter over here. Ew, I wouldn't do that. That thing's hit so many bar stages.
Well, that's actually why I didn't do
it.
That's why I didn't do it.
Does it smell like old beer at all?
It actually does a little.
Does it? Does it smell like a musty bar?
Something does, but that just might
that
be
microphone's
like me spilling.
Seen hundreds of gigs.
Okay, so Sunny, yo, Chief-a-Lots. He's only printed labels before. T-Shot Creations. Hey, T-Shot.
What are you, Fat Albert?
Well, that wasn't where exactly I was going. Where I felt that was weird. I felt like I was like, hey. Like I was like flirting or something. I'm like, That sounded weird. Indigenous. I just sent the pictures to you and Shannon in the email. You can display them if you want. Please do.
Oh, okay. Well, let me pull up my
Tuning in from
email.
Canada, Ontario. My family's from
And-
Newfoundland, so yay, Canadians.
We'll display those. So I'm interested to see it.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. I'm not doing that right this second. I have to wait for the app to... Sorry as in what?
Sorry as I did keep running over you.
And you're apologizing about that?
I'm trying to do better.
It's fine, Shannon. Everything is all right. It's kind of like a party up in here, and you know how that goes when we're around people, and then everybody just kind of wants to get their whatever it is they're trying to say it.
You know, I
guess is the best way.
I feel like before you bought me this cup, like I feel like now the Shop Gnome shirt should be.
It should be a mug.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to revise that then.
Yeah, but the thing was so cute. I don't know, and no one's really gonna get. Oh, she likes coffee and vaping. She must be a hipster. No.
Yeah, they'll
Just
probably
a drunk trying to like recover from cigarette addiction.
They'll definitely probably think that it's some sort of hipster thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Let's stick with the beer.
I don't know.
Well, it already probably looks pretty hipster. Anyways, I'm gonna read the rest of this stuff up.
Okay, go ahead and do that. I'm gonna find the email
Sunny,
from...
where's Juan? Liberty Graphics, where are you? Oh my God, Liberty called me out last night on accident because he's like, Matt knows Spanish because his ex-girlfriend knew Spanish. And Matt looks at me and goes, you said something, didn't you? I was like, yeah.
At what point did that even come up? I don't know.
How much he pays attention.
A lot of things have come up. Shannon is she's an open book. She tells it like it is, and just
that's just you being nice right now for the camera.
She lays it all out there. Like she just
you're gonna yell at me later.
I'm not gonna yell at you. That's just who you are, Shanny. Shannon. Shanny. Anyhow, let's see what else we got here. Indigenous. Okay, yeah, saw that. All right, so yeah.
T-Shot just set his shop up.
What now?
T-Shot just set his shop up.
Oh, awesome! Congratulations.
That's
awesome. What do you got in your shop? What'd you all set up? Let us know in the chat. I'm interested to hear. It's cool seeing what direction everybody goes in as far as the different makes and models of presses and whether they go new or used.
Well,
it's always cool. Always
Sonny
cool
is registering his business Beach Burns with a Z, screen printing, and he's getting a new flash unit this week.
Oh, cool. So you said registering? Is that when you say that, do you mean you're like getting your DBA, LLC, or registering the trademark of it? Where's that at, Shannon? Let's see. I'm registering my business, Beach Bums, screen printing this weekend, and getting a new flash.
Oh, I thought it said Beach Burns. I don't have my glasses, guys. You don't want to see me with my glasses.
Yeah, it's Beach Bums.
You guys want to see me with my glasses?
Okay, so he says an LLC. That's awesome. I don't know if you were here last time, Sonny, when we were kind of talking about my meeting with with David from Score, and I had asked him about that, whether or not
One Shot. Sorry.
Going from a DBA to LLC, and he's like, I wouldn't worry about a LLC until later down the road. And that was just his advice to me. And I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. And a lot of it was because of the additional taxes that you have to file. Like if he was saying that if, at least here in Texas, you don't file, then they just kind of assume that you're making $1 million and you're paying taxes on that. And then you kind of have to contest it, which is a pain in the butt to do. So I think I'm going to stay away from the LLC for a little while.
We're a mom and
because
pop.
yeah, because I mean, there's really not. I mean, we're liable for messed up T-shirts. That's about it.
Okay.
uh,
Is there any chance? Okay, son. One shot. I am so sorry. I'm not wearing my glasses, and I'm out of contacts, and you don't want to see me with my glasses on because it looks like this.
I want to see it. Yeah, one of the hinges broke off of it,
Apollo ate them.
and he ate them. I think we had showed a little bit of a close up last time, didn't we, Shannon?
So I don't. Would you not make fun of me while I'm actually wearing these glasses? So yeah,
You're kind of making
I don't wear
making
the
fun of
glasses
yourself
because they're ridiculous looking, and I apologize. One shot's not T-shot. I am legally blind. I'm not allowed to drive unless I have my contacts or my glasses. Okay, so
Shannon's driving, to be honest, is it's a little scary.
oh, shut up! It is not.
It's a little bit. It
Oh,
makes
because
me
you're in the
nervous.
passenger seat.
No way, dude. Speedy Gonzalez. She comes burning out of the lot.
I did.
We come to the stoplight and it's just like I'm like putting my hand on the dash.
And I never do that with you.
I'm holding the
oh shit handle. Yeah, no,
handle.
I never do that. I never
and
do
it's
that.
not even a fast car. So I mean, what does that tell you? So
I drive a Hyundai.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Why am I having to hold on to the oh shit handle if it's a slow car to begin with? That's just my point. I'm not trying to be mean.
I'm gonna go
Okay,
on.
so I'm gonna go over and diverge from
so many questions that I haven't gotten to yet.
Okay, let's do the questions, and then I want to show Indigenous's what he sent in the email. So
Okie dokie.
go ahead with it there, Shannon.
Thank you. Shit.
Way
Shut
to keep it going.
Okay. I hate you so much.
That was
Sonny.
smooth.
I had it, and then you started laughing. Sunny needs an additive for poly. Can you help me?
An additive for polyester, just to make it cure a little quicker.
We don't really use an additive.
You know, I tend to use polyester inks for whatever the case may be. I'd say for the most part, a lot of the polyester stuff that we do, if it's a design, most time is going on a dark shirt, so we use a poly ink. Like I like to use One Strokes NP dry fit ink, and then we'll screen print our color inks on top of that. But if I'm just doing a color ink on top of a polyester shirt, then I'll get like Wilflex has a I forget what it's called, something score or something or another. It might not be it. Like they have a line of inks that's made for printing on polyester, so that way you don't have any of that dye migration going on. We just got some navy ink here recently for an order that we did. That's the safety jackets, like that neon yellow color. So I know there's additives.
It's called High-Vis.
The only one I can think of off the top of my head, yeah, I'm not even gonna say it because it's I don't want to go plugging them, so to speak. So
all right. Well, and also, guys, keep in mind though, if you
not that I have a problem with them.
If you do go Matt's method with just doing polyester ink, what we do is we charge an upcharge of 50 cents because it's a specialty ink for per shirt. So just keep that in mind because it is more expensive.
Yeah. See, Uproar's got it. It's top score. I knew it was score something, but Wilflex, they have a line of ink called Top Score. It's pretty good. I'm really enjoying using Wilflex inks. I've tried quite a bit, and Wilflex has been one of my go-tos aside from GSG's house colors. And it's just like their Vortex, their StarTex, and I generally use those inks on top of I mean, there's not a whole lot of white T-shirts that we print, so I guess it's a little bit of a moot point.
Well, I just like
saying
whatever
that
keeps
it's
you
going on a
cursing
base.
the least.
What's that?
I just like whatever keeps you cursing the least, my darling.
Inks that I'm unfamiliar with that are difficult to print. That would definitely make for a bad day when things just last thing I need is an ink just not wanting to do what it's meant to do, is go through the screen, or if it's too runny, it just bleeding out and uh, not doing what it's intended to do. Some of the inks are a little too runny, but those runny inks I would just recommend keeping those to printing on white shirts.
Okay, well,
They'll give you a softer hand feel. Go ahead, Shannon.
Sorry. Gus is asking the best emulsion for halftones.
Yeah, I saw that. Gus, to be honest, the emulsion that I like to use, because we have a multi-bulb or multi-light source exposure unit, I like to use, and I kind of came across this emulsion by accident because I was starting to get into water-based screen printing. And that emulsion is Ulano TZ emulsion, and it's a diazo emulsion, so you have to mix the diazo in there. It exposes probably about 3 times as slow as a photopolymer, but it's a lot more forgiving in the sense that it's going to hold those halftones a lot better if you have an exposure unit like we do. There's others out there that I have tried that work pretty well, but with the humidity here in Houston like it is, the TZ has seemed to work pretty well in the film not wanting to stick to the screen. The other one that I tried, I think it was Kiwo. I think that's how you say it, but I forget the specific one. It has a little bit of a reddish tint to it. And it held the halftones pretty well, but going back to the film sticking to the screens, it just tended to stick, and something about the way it washed out, maybe when I was using it, maybe I didn't expose it long enough, but it just seemed to have like a lot of kind of that film on the back, on the side where your emulsion's not quite as exposed. It just seemed to be slimier on the back. Gross. The TZ emulsion just, I don't know. I like it, so I give that a try. See how it works for you. I think everybody kind of has their own opinion as to what works well for them. I've tried quite a bit. And I would even suggest reaching out to some of these emulsion companies and asking them their opinion as to what will work best for your setup. And they'll have some recommendations too, but for me, Ulano TZ emulsion.
Okay, so Uproar says Wolflix has top score. That's the poly ink, I think. Mm-hmm. Greg Stevenson says, "What up? Oyster Bake missed us." Oh my God, he was actually at my alma mater. And who played? Greg, you have to tell me who played, please.
What are you talking about?
Oyster Bake.
Who's Oyster Bake?
I have told you about this so many times.
Have you?
Yes, I have.
Okay, for one, would you tell me what the hell Oyster Bake is?
Oyster
and it might
Bake
ring
is a big
a bell.
Festival in San Antonio.
You see, you haven't told me. You mentioned this on the live. You've mentioned it on the live. We don't go around talking about Oyster Bake.
Gone around talking about it, and you just went, uh-huh.
And what is Oyster Bake again?
Oyster Bake's a big festival. They have oysters and live music, and it's actually at where I went to law school.
See, that's why. It's a college, right?
So it's not a college. It's a law school.
Excuse me. It's still a school. It's still
a school. But they
place of higher learning.
I told you they had Smash Mouth. Don't you throw anything at me? I'll throw something back.
Smash Mouth. That's probably why I wasn't like completely gung ho about it. It's
Greg, do you see what you started?
Is it mainly a bunch of college kids?
No, it's everybody. Like Greg's not a college kid. Everybody goes to
I'm not
Oyster
saying
Bake.
that Greg's a college kid. Okay, so Oyster Bake.
It's a big festival in San Antonio.
I get that. Shannon, I get it. Okay, so that's a 3-hour drive to something that possibly.
Did I
Don't
ask
give me.
you to go?
Don't. You said you talk about it all the time. Why else would you talk about it all the time?
Because I'd like to reminisce and I would like to go, but I would never ask you to because we have too much shit to do.
See, there you go. That's one. That's. I don't know, Shannon. There a million things have kind of gone on. So if you've talked about oyster bake, and
Oyster.
What is it?
Oyster, not oyster.
Oyster.
Yeah, you said oyster. Like with this.
Oyster. Yeah, well, I'm from Texas. You know what? Yeehaw.
Okay, anyway.
Welcome. This is how we say it around here. At least that's how I'm going to say it.
Oyster bake.
Go correct my English. Says the person, and I'm like correcting your typos. Shannon, this invoice has typos. Tighten it up. See, it kind of goes hand in hand. So she corrects me how I say things, and then I catch Shannon's typos. And it's probably because she's blind.
And I type a lot more.
I wouldn't say that. I do quite a bit of typing.
You guys
lot.
have no idea.
A lot.
You guys have no idea
Hey,
what's gonna
remember-
happen after this.
Remember when we were in the house and I'd be at the computer and you're like laying in the bed and you're like, man, you type fast. And I'm sitting there like going through email after email, shooting out messages. You remember telling me that?
Yeah, I do remember. And you remember how you were like fast asleep on the futon while I was going today?
I do. Actually, no, I don't, because I was fast asleep.
Yeah, you were fast asleep.
And the reason is because, we were up till 5 a.m. and then I had to get back up at 7 o'clock. So I think me taking a little bit of a siesta on the futon to... I'm still tired.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying, hey, You know what? I can do it too.
Okay, so...
anyway, so Pantones.
Speaking of... Go ahead, Shannon. One more question, then we're going to get into our topic.
She explained it to you in detail before. Ha, 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 ha. Told you. Okay.
You're right. You're right. She probably has.
Hi, Ronnie.
Indigenous.
B3 screen printing. How often do you mix custom Pantone colors? What system do you use? Is this the guy that we watched last night?
Who?
B3 screen printing.
No, that's someone else. That's
we watched somebody else last night that had an issue with Pantones.
No, that was... I can't think of his name right now. I don't know. For some reason, the name Louis C.K. popped in my head. And I'm like, that's not his name. Anyhow, how often do we mix Pantone colors? And what system do we use? We use standard plastisol inks, and we mix it to the Pantone color. And I mean, there's not a whole lot of Pantone color matching that goes on around here. Because
I haven't seen it since I've been here.
Really, I mean, most of our clients aren't after. Occasionally, it happens, but most of them they're fine with the house colors, or will mix up a custom color just to get it in the ballpark of whatever color we're after. Because I would say most of our clients are, we put on that $10 charge or whatever it is. It's $10. It's $10. So we charge $10, and like, say for instance, if we got an order from some sort of, let's say, a restaurant that had to have certain Pantone colors in it. It was a big order.
Sin! Sorry.
Then, hey, what's up, Sin? Then we definitely would mix up some Pantone inks for them. But I mean, for the most part, just regular the house colors or your standard plastisol colors that you get will pretty much cover a lot of people. And I think one of the things I was getting at is we put that $10 charge on there for Pantone colors. A lot of our clients are looking for a good deal and are like, oh no, the $10, no, just take that off and use the closest ink color possible. And so there's not a whole lot that goes on. I've been wanting to get one, but there's really not a whole lot of matching that goes on, so it probably would just sit there. Although I probably would put it to use if we have it, but I mean, you know,
You know what
that's a $400 system. What is it?
I'm just saying, you know what I kind of like? It's you on one half, like talking, and me just sitting here grinning stupid at the at the computer listening
Oh, sorry.
to everybody.
Here we go. Should I have
No.
switched it over?
No, no, I'm just like, I thought you already had.
Yeah,
But
see, it's
no.
funny because that's what I was going through. It's like it was always on my face, and then while you were talking, it's just kind of like.
But no, like you're like sitting there like talking, and I'm just like looking at the thing going, and like I feel like that's what's being recorded at the moment, and I'm just like, damn.
It is.
Awesome. Well, you know what? Little Jimmy says I'm looking good tonight. Shannon. Okay. T-shirt chicks
That's
here.
a compliment to both of us.
Scooby,
Thank you.
Sin, yay.
She run out, Shannon?
I did. I was looking through the rest. Okay, but T-shirt chick is actually, or Sin. I'm sorry. I keep calling everybody by their handles. I apologize about that.
She's fine, but like it's funny because she was doing one of her lives. I was on there, and I had asked her. I was like, you know,
Actually, I like being called by my
I don't know what is your name, by the way, because you don't ever say your name. She's like, oh, and she's like, my name's Sin. I was like, okay, cool, awesome. And then the what the name of her T-shirt company was. Didn't know what that is either. We know now, but I'm sorry, I completely forgot. She told us. It takes me hearing something maybe 3 or 5 times for it to like really click. Yeah, so the whole Oyster Cult Club. Oyster Cult Club.
No, it's
festival.
not a cult club.
I know it's not a cult club, Shannon. I'm just giving you a hard time.
I know. It's
the funny thing is, I think it's quite hilarious that it's something she enjoys going to, and she doesn't even like oysters. She doesn't even like seafood.
I don't eat seafood.
Yeah. So what do you eat there? Do they have like a hot dog stand?
I'm sure they do. I don't eat. I go and listen to live music. And drink beer.
How long is this festival? Because I couldn't be at a festival like if it's an all day thing and not eat.
I think it's just one day.
I'd be miserable.
Yeah, well they have oysters.
You know, I don't eat oysters. Remember when we went to BuzzFest and I think we had some nachos or something like that, and then we're going all day long. We're having some beers, and at the end of the day, the both of us were just tired because I wanted we were going to stick around. I don't even remember who the band was, but I didn't like them that much. I think it was like Godsmack or some crap like that. Yeah, I think
it was Godsmack.
And there's like, we'll get out of here.
Yeah,
tired,
we saw Becky
hungry.
Benjamin. We're good.
Yeah. Anyhow, so I want to show everybody the email that Indigenous has sent. Let me pull up just his email and hide mine real quick, and then I'll show you guys what he sent. So let's take a look-see here. See you later, Sonny.
And Greg says chicken on a stick and brewskis. It's 2 days.
Oh, they have chicken on a stick. Okay, see, I can get down with that. Okay, so here's what he sent. And Shannon, do you want to come over here and take a look? You want to look at these, or you want me to turn it, or?
Yeah, I'll look.
But they're pretty cool. I've always been impressed in this by your graphic design skills. They're very clean. They look professional. They have a cool vibe to them.
I like them.
These look awesome. They look great.
I like how you work the colors into each theme. I really do.
And it looks like they have a gloss on them. That's pretty awesome. They look really good. The colors look really good. That red, whoever printed them, it looks good. And you don't see any kind of... I'm not sure if they use spot colors to print these or if it's a CMYK printer, but a lot of times in grays, the issues is you can kind of see the dot pattern, and it ends up looking goofy. So they did a real good job there. The shade of gray
Who's your supplier?
looks very nice. Yeah, you'll have to let us know who printed these stickers for you.
Because I'm about to cry over stickers.
Love the halftone pattern that you have going on there. That is really cool. Very nice. Love the sunburst here. Let's see what else we got here. Fry bread powered. The fry bread is a I take it's one of the kind of traditional foods. I think he had mentioned talking about that before. Again, my capacity to retain a lot of conversations. I mean, I remember kind of like the Cliff Note parts, but there's just been so much going on around here that. Shannon, yeah, what do you got to say?
I'd like to interject just with one question.
Nice.
Oh, okay, he's in San Antonio. Never mind. The print hub. I was gonna say something about where we're getting our embroidery, and I'm like, why haven't you finished our embroidery?
Oh, those look really good.
Yeah, they do. I can see it even from here, and I'm
so
a blind lady.
I take it that these tags are screen printed rather than it being an embroidered type of print or tag. So I know I've seen the embroidered style as well, but I mean those look really good. And it looks like if you're to flip the tag up, it's going to read correct, so that's good. 100% cotton, machine wash warm, inside out with light colors. Only non-chlorine bleach. All the good standard stuff. Does it say?
We just got an email that our prescription's ready.
One of the things I'm curious about, and I've seen just working with the dogs. He's making sounds in his sleep.
Woof. Woof.
Hold on, stop. You stop doing it. Let him. Let's see.
Well, I stopped because I stopped.
Is that why?
Yeah.
Anyhow, but those look really good, Indigenous. That's pretty awesome.
Oh my god, I know where Calibra is. Sorry.
What was that about?
San Antonians just geeking out. That's all. But no, he lives at Calibra. I used to live off Medical Drive. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so we're going to talk about our topic for the day. So we're going to get into.
We have more questions.
All right, so we're going to put the questions off until the end, and let's talk a little bit about our how the interviewing process went. So this.
Did they know that we were interviewing?
No, but we're talking about it.
Hey, guess what, guys? We are interviewing now.
We talked about getting some more help in.
Yeah.
Here, and so the first thing we did was we got someone in for some graphic designers in to the interview, and we interviewed 3 people. They're all females because they happen to be the ones that followed Shannon's instructions, right, Shannon?
Yep. I only picked the ones that didn't just click apply. I asked for a direct email, and I asked for a link to a portfolio, and only 4 people out of all of them responded that way, and it was probably like hundreds of applications, but it just showed me in the beginning that they weren't following instructions and they were just like blindly doing it. And so when these 4 people came, we asked for 3 of them because the other one Matt wasn't really comfortable with because they were a screen printer out of their home. Can I do I need to repeat everything I just said?
No, we can hear you.
Okay.
It's just I'm trying to get your audio levels up a little bit.
Okay. Well, so one of them was a screen printer out of their home, and Matt wasn't comfortable because of we'd have to do like a
non-disclosure agreement?
No, a non-compete.
Non-compete. Oh, yeah.
And so we asked the 3 girls in that did it. I love them all. I don't know who to choose. But it was an amazing day for them to come in.
Why? What makes you say that?
We had like 15,000 walk-ins, and I had probably, don't put that over there, please. I had probably 50. No, and this is not me exaggerating. I probably had 50 phone calls, and I had to leave the interview halfway through each and every single one of them, and then I had to go back and ask, "Did you ask about this? Did you ask about this?" And Matt's just like, "Yeah, yeah, I asked about it."
Oh, I got this, baby.
And I'm just
I
sitting there
got it.
like, because both Matt and I have actual professional interviewing experience, so it was kind of frustrating, like that I had to like still do like work while I really wanted to be like choosing somebody that when Matt's out in the shop, I have to look at their head.
That's how it's gonna be. So I thought I'd give both of you a taste of the situation. So as Shannon was saying, we had 3 people come in, and they all. I thought they all did well. They all had their own personalities. I'm not gonna say who, because just in case they're watching, I don't want to say who I'm leaning towards, but I think this individual had a little more experience, and if left alone here in the shop. So let's say, for instance, they have, and I think you know who I'm talking about.
I do, and
I think
have
if she were here, she would be able to handle the phone call. I'm not going to go through the details because I don't want to kind of single her out publicly.
Yeah.
But so she's had some experience just kind of handling things, so to speak.
And you know who I'm going for?
I do. So apparently we still have some more talking to do about this.
We've rescheduled all of them for a follow-up interview via phone.
Right. Yeah, so
because we don't want to make them all drive down here.
Right. And I didn't want to ask each of the interviews took about an hour and a half. So the interview went down, essentially they came in, we just kind of introduced ourselves and took a look at their portfolios.
Let the dog pee on their shoes.
We were, Apollo peed on one of their shoes as I was giving her a shop tour. And kind of, I hadn't even had time to really go over their resume, so I was going over it as we're conducting the interview. After we took a look at their, and kind of nerded out about their portfolios, I had some sample set aside where it essentially was some of the things that they'll be doing around here, and I would be happy to show you guys some of the things I just kind of had set aside in case you guys down the road go to interview a graphic designer. This is essentially what I was kind of showing them, kind of explaining to them what their duties around here would be. And there is going to be some design work, so I'm sure you guys have saw this as a logo design. I just put some stuff together quickly, a flyer that we did, and kind of explain to them that we do business cards as well. Occasionally we have someone that wants a quick design put together that isn't going to cost them a lot of money. We're essentially kind of trying to stay, not that we're competing or trying to stay within their like Vistaprint's prices, because whom we go for our printing services does a much better job. But everybody's after a deal, so we make sure that we get paid and they're happy with it and they get a good deal on it. So there was that, and then there's other things along these lines where we got to do this design. There is mock-ups that they have to do and all that. So I mean, doing proofs and creating designs and whatnot this was another example where it's kind of like a. This is for a real estate agent, which it is not pulling up right this second. My computer's.
Why don't you show them your test?
Oh yeah, the test. Let me see. Let me see if this thing will pull up. Okay, so there we go. It's a pretty big file. This is something that we had to do recently.
I saw that Indigenous. Thank you. Go on.
We have to. What did Indigenous say?
Oh, he sent us an email on those stickers and labels.
Oh, okay. So, these are some of the other things that they would have to be doing is creating designs like this. To me, it's kind of straightforward stuff, but so anyhow, so that's some of the things that they would be doing. And then Shannon, you said what now?
Why don't you show them the test?
Okay, yeah. So then the little test that I had them do is I just to make sure that they knew their stuff was I had them recreate a business card, and I gave them a bunch of the elements. So they really just kind of had to put this thing together. Here's like our branding bar that you see on just about everything. One of our slogans, the "Let's Get Creative."
The door is even painted black.
The logo. And some social media icons, and they essentially had to go through and recreate Shannon's business card. And so here's how some of them did, and I think that they all did a pretty good job from what I see. And there were some points to each one of these interviewees that, did I say that right? Interviewees?
Yeah.
Anyhow, there's little things with each one of these that I felt they all had their points. Some of them got some details that others didn't. And so I think they all would do a great job equally. However, I think it's going to come down to
my favorite and his favorite.
Yeah. And us kind of putting our points for it as to why we feel this person is the best candidate.
Yeah, because I emailed them all today as a follow-up, and I was just like, yay, it was a blast meeting you. If you're still interested after seeing what we go through and the dog peeing on you, but after all of that, if you're still interested in the position, we want to do a follow-up interview. And honestly, I really don't know. I don't know who to pick.
All three of them
are great.
Yes, and part of me kind of felt like we should interview some more. But I'm like, then that probably would just throw more into the mix. Far as, go ahead, Shannon.
Well, it's throwing stuff into the mix, and it's defeating the purpose of getting rid of the time constraint thing. Like, we've already spent a lot of time on this,
right?
And we're doing this to get more time. So we want to block our time out again. And I think, and
yeah, you got a good point.
if we had total shit candidates, I would understand that. But they're perfect. They're all three of them. They're great.
I agree. So now at this point, it's us really just kind of deciding, whittling it down, or maybe just even following up with all three. And there's some questions that I want to ask, because I'm really looking for someone that. Give me 1 second, guys, or I feel like hopefully we're not lagging on the other end, because the OBS is kind of blinking orange and red, at least what they're seeing over there. So what I was getting at is I just want to make sure we find someone that, and in talking on the phone, who did I talk to on the phone earlier? I'm awful with names.
Not any of our candidates.
That he's the electrician. Dave. Okay, so I talked on the phone with Dave. Sorry, Dave, if you're watching. We talked quite quite a lot. Anyhow, what I was getting at is I think he made a good point with hiring people to work in your business, because he has his own business. And we were talking about screen print because he's getting into that, saw some of our videos. But he made a good point in saying that it was hard for him to keep someone that wasn't just kind of using him as a stepping stone to get to the next big thing that they were after. And so I really want to find someone that's enjoys being here around us, what we do, and want to see the company grow and be part of that. Even though they're not a partner, but the potential for growth in that individual starting out as a graphic designer, things grow where we need more artists towards where she could be be a manager of the art department, or be a manager, because she's or any of them are. I want them
they're
to.
All she, so.
I want them all to be familiar with all the processes towards where they could help manage the play, like be a team player when it comes to everything. Maybe aside from the quotes and all that. I mean, they could put together quotes, but I'm just saying, you know, if we need to.
I feel like a puppy dog just shut out in the rain.
Well, what I'm saying is I want them to be able to, like, down the road, be able to get a handle on all the aspects, even though what they're here for is doing the graphic design. But I mean, down the road, I just want someone that wants to be here and wants to be involved in kind of as a go-getter, not where I'm like, they're just here to get paid.
Well, that's actually one of my main concerns about your favorite. And the thing that I like about my favorite is I like the idea that we can just throw her an idea, and I really feel like she would just design it.
Do you think she would be, but giving her art background, do you think that in the long run this is going to be something she would enjoy doing for a long time, or do you see her having dreams of doing something else? Like, consider where she currently has a part-time gig. I mean, that's a lot along the lines of her portfolio.
Right, I get that, but I feel like we need a lot of help with design work. I just want to hire two and get one of them out there, and then one in here doing design work.
What do you mean the two?
You know which two. I don't know. It's just she's very artistic, and she showed us stuff that, like, conceptual stuff that she had to come up with, and I think that would be great for, like, when we're really lacking on design work ideas, because we still haven't gotten Stephanie her thing.
I feel like that you connected with her on a more personal level on the art side, which is why
also she's cute and adorable.
Okay. I mean,
okay, that's not a good reason to, like, hire somebody. I get
Shannon, think of the bigger picture, not
I'm trying.
Cute and adorable and artwork that you're nerding out over, like the overall big picture of the task that we're putting on their plate. Is it going to be a task that they're like, I don't want them to feel down the road like they're not, if it doesn't really fit into what they really enjoy doing. I kind of feel like they'll find after they've been taught, and eventually it's going to get to, I mean, we're constantly learning stuff, right? However, I feel like there may be eventually a point where it's just like same old, and they're not learning anything.
Well, I'm
Or maybe
sorry.
not.
Well, no, I
I
have
don't
to
know.
disagree with you on
You
that.
disagree?
Yeah, I do. I really disagree with you on that.
That's fine.
I feel like your favorite candidate won't be that person that you can just be. You could throw them. You know, hey, to do this mock up, do this mock up.
Mm-hmm.
Throw them the design. I don't feel like they'll be able to conceptualize a piece of art the way that some of our clients ask us to. I feel like she would be, and I feel like she could learn the rest of it. She's young, moldable, and shit, she'd probably work for half of what everyone else would.
Do you think that perhaps with the two that we are considering, or even the third,
I like
even
the
the
third
third,
too.
I think she was great.
I thought
And
she was great too. She'd
looking
probably
at the cards just a second ago, I'm like, she was pretty spot on.
I don't know.
Maybe we need to have a creative test then. But what we need help with now isn't necessarily the creative stuff. It's doing the film, doing the mock-ups, or separating art out and proofs, like that kind of stuff. And
You
we'll
know what's
have to
funny,
kind
guys?
of wean them into designing and seeing, because I know with the designing, I'm gonna have to give them quite a bit of direction
No matter who it is.
initially. And I think, and I don't necessarily even know that they might not need a whole lot of direction. They might just be able to get in there and um, bang out the designs, and I'm just like, that's awesome. Kind of like I feel like how when I took a part-time job at Minuteman Press a couple of years ago when things got slow, I needed a little something to kind of um, I needed to make
He
some
quit
money,
on his
really.
birthday.
Yeah, I did. And if you're new to the channel, or if you're hearing about this for the first time, in 2016 when I moved from the Sugarland over to the Kingwood side of town, I lost quite a bit of clients, and slow season came, and there wasn't a whole lot going on. I had a good amount of clients, but it wasn't enough towards where I was making the money that I needed to make. So I looked for a part-time job, got a job at Minuteman Press, and they weren't paying me well. And I went in there, and with the experience that I do have, I managed to raise their sales, to bring their sales from 10,000 a month to the 20,000, and they were very happy with my work, and they knew I had my business and all that. And eventually, uh, I couldn't do the go sit down in front of a computer corporate type of situation. So
You
thanks
doubled their profit
right
in
things
a month.
things picked back up. It got back in the full swing of the whole screen printing season, and new clients were coming along, and it was like, forget it. I'm quitting this. I'm quitting this job. I'm going back to my dream. So
Well, there was that, and you were 15 minutes late, and you're like, "Bitch, I double your entire profit."
they were a good drive away, and it was spring break. And one of their points that they had brought up, and they're like, "Man, you were 15 minutes late, even though it's spring break." And I told the one of the owners, I was like, I don't think you realize I left, and perhaps it's just bad on my part. And I think it was just meant to be, because if I were in a closer location and ended up keeping that job, we wouldn't be where we're at here. So
I'd be selling Ferraris.
I'm in the position where they're at with their shop, and hiring a part-time designer for ourselves. So yeah, that's what quitting your
Well, yeah,
crappy
and
day
also
job will get
it's
you.
like it's the kind
Not
of
that your day
polar
job's crappy.
opposite of biting the hand that feeds. It's like biting the hand that No, that still works. By the way, I
So,
know Matt provided him like he doubled their profit in like.
sorry.
Well, I didn't do it.
No. You're just on the side of the microphone, so it just
Well,
sounds
he
like
did it.
You're in the background. No, it's fine. Go ahead.
But no, Matt was like doubling their profit each month to the point that they could get like some stupid new.
It was a large format printer.
Yeah, stupid new printer.
So they could do banners.
And then, even so, they're out there smoking pot, and then they come in and bitch to him. Which I have nothing against pot. You smoke, you do you. I don't care. I am actually for legalization.
I think your point is the fact that
the fact that they were 15,
nitpicking.
Yeah, they were nitpicking.
And then they're out there getting high and coming back in. And then they're getting
high and coming back inside. And then they're still like calling you out for it, and yet you've doubled sales. And then the next, I think it was the next day after you got that talk that you just said peace out.
It was because the reason being is we had that talk, and I was already stressed enough about paying bills, and I'm was used to being my own boss, and then here's someone that is my new boss that's like gets out this spreadsheet with all the times I was like a couple minutes late.
I don't hear my joke.
That he got out a spreadsheet where like I'm a couple minutes late, and I know what difference I had made as far as getting all the design work to get these orders in and out faster. You know, I know in comparison to how I mounted up to their previous designer, and I was at their salary cap for their graphic designer, which $18, which, don't get me wrong, that would have been fine maybe when I was 24, 25, but you know, I've got a family and people to support, so that wasn't doing it. So luckily I was still just doing screen printing on side, and I was working those long nights where I would go into that job and I was just exhausted. I just after that I was like, no. So Shannon, do you got anything else to?
On me.
Don't put it on you?
No.
Okay. Do you got anything else to add to our the interviews and all that?
We're hiring.
Do you want it on you now?
And it's driving me insane. That's pretty much what I've got. That's what I've got. Like I have no idea. I love all three of them. They all have pros and cons, and I've never had an interview process that was this hard to figure. Like, do
you feel like Chef Ramsay? This is hard.
You're not doing it right. This is Chef Ramsay.
He's like,
it's this. You're not doing it right.
He's like, damn.
No, it's this.
Do it. Hold on. Wait a second. Wait. Let's get it on you. Hold on. Wait a second here. Do it. Okay. Do your Chef Ramsay impersonation. Okay.
This is hard.
There you go. You got it.
It's perfect.
You nailed it. That's pretty good. Okay. So moving on.
It's all in the bounce.
One of the things I wanted to talk about is I know we had talked about us getting into contract screen printing, and a lot of that's picking up, and I'm just going to briefly touch on this because one of the reasons we were 15 minutes late is I was on the phone with one of our good contract screen printing clients, and because we're overwhelmed. Let me say this first about contract screen printing.
We got scolded today.
Yeah, we got scolded a little bit, and not really. Yeah. So we messed up, mainly on our part. I'll say that it mainly was on our part. One of the things is going back to not sending a proof. She had sent mock-ups over, and it was just And this is the second time we've gotten bit because of no proof. I don't care. At this point, I'm like, I don't care if it's 2 in the morning. We send a proof out 2 in the morning, and if it doesn't get approved, then we're not doing it. So no proof from us, no mock-up. We just weren't prepared. We were behind.
Yeah,
I didn't use the right
order up.
screen selection. So it was on tri-blends. So we did like 202 tri-blend Bella canvas shirts. So they're not cheap, but behind on the deadline. So she's kind of having to make excuses as to why these shirts aren't ready for her client.
And keep in mind, this is one of the clients that I actually hug, and she introduced me to her father, and I'm like squeezing her, going, "She's my favorite."
And so the client's a good friend, and they've been trying to land this account for the past 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
So we kind of dropped the ball. I was telling Shannon as we're printing, I'm like, man, I don't feel like these look good. The press was acting up.
It was 3 a.m, though, and I was like, you know what?
And
Fuck
she
it.
let
It's
us
fine.
know at the last minute. And she said she let us know that it's partially her fault in the sense that she should have been honest sooner about it.
Yeah, but she also said that she sent the thing like the first. I'm telling you, I was asking you like while you were on the phone with her. Tell her to send the stuff to me.
Okay, she can send it to you. So a lot of it is on our shoulders, okay? And what it all boils down to is we have to make it up to her in either credit or buying new shirts.
I vote credit.
And redoing these shirts properly, because we're both under the impression that we're not going to have her submit these shirts because it's not up to the quality that we're used to. And
she even said that she compared it to our other stuff,
right.
And she said it wasn't as good.
And one of the issues that was going on, I used the 195 mesh, which generally works well a lot of times, but with it being a tri-blend, there's a lot of fibrillation going on, which I'm thinking is the issue. The press just wasn't running quite right. So there's a part that I need to get to take care of that. And we were rushed, lack of sleep. We were up until 5 a.m. this morning running off this order just so it's like a boogered up thing. And she told us she had a gut feeling that she shouldn't have pressed it instead of us working late, to just give us another day to complete it rather
another
than...
day would have been so much better because we would have actually seen it in the light and known
right.
what we buggered up.
And then
actually cared what we boogered up.
Yeah, and then the other issue that was coming up, this batch of, I don't know why, but this batch of the Bella Canvas shirts they had a lot of strings, a lot of leftover pieces, like trimmings from the shirts being made, and that ended up on the bottom of the screen. Some of the prints having just those pieces of string or just leftover material just blocking it. And so we wouldn't see it until like 8 shirts down the line. And then because we were pressed for time, I was thinking, okay, we can just fix these with a little bit of ink, run them back through. Or if we weren't as pressed for time, we would have just let it go around the press one more time, and that would have fixed the situation. However, I didn't let it do that because I felt like then these were going to be a little bit brighter than the previous ones. So she wasn't happy with the brightness.
Yeah,
she wasn't happy with some of the prints that had the lint in it, and the sizing of the front logo wasn't as big as she had hoped for, and that goes back to the proof. So long story short, we're going to have to run these again, and we're probably going to be eating quite a bit of the cost of that. So
Well,
we're spending money on this job and printing it twice.
First off, we're gonna break even because she loves us.
We're not going to break even because it's
No, we'll break.
contract screen
I'm talking
printing.
about in the future with everything else that she sends towards us. We'll break even.
Well, we're not going to lose her business.
Yeah, and the business will bring us more.
Hopefully.
Of course it will. She loves us.
No, she will.
She's my favorite, and she knows it. And we hug when she comes up. And second off, I just want to say part of it was my fault too, because I was too tired to actually do any quality check.
I'm tired
I was
as
like,
hell right now.
I was like, shove it, shove it, shove it. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Fine. I don't care. I don't care. Maybe they won't look. I don't care. And that was actually my fault too, because it was just we started too late. We were exhausted, and
so
yeah. But it'll make up for it in the long run though, because we're gonna retain her business because she loves us, and
right.
she and I hug.
This is true. So if you guys learn anything from this, just learn from our mistakes. That way, they don't happen to you.
Quality control.
And you don't end up either losing a client or end up losing money, which, I mean, those kind of come hand in hand. So I think that's about all we're going to really say about that, because that literally is
from what I
had been an issue. That's something we were talking about right before we got on. Even though we close at 6 o'clock, we're still handling stuff. We still print at night, and we're working towards taking some of the load off of this, some of the load off of us by hiring some additional help. But also the caveat to that is the fact that hiring somebody means that, we got more overhead. We've got another person that counts on us to provide an income, and it's I can tell you this road has not been easy, but I know it will all pay off in the end, and we're learning from our mistakes.
Can I play that clip back to you when you're grumpy?
And also, if you're going to play a clip back, Shannon, play back a clip that, and I told myself this earlier today, they're just t-shirts. They're just t-shirts, and I'm not going to, it's not the end of the world. If for whatever reason, if we happen to booger up and we lose a client, it's not the end of the world, and they are t-shirts. It's not worth stressing out and your health just deteriorating because you're so stressed and trying to.
Yeah, and honestly,
sometimes, turning down business isn't such a bad thing. In our case,
even losing business if they're not worth it.
In our case, we're trying not to lose any business or turn down any accounts because we need those accounts in order, especially her, because she sends us a lot of artwork, jobs that need to be done artwork wise, which the graphic designer will be handling. So
yeah, and also she's my favorite. I was thinking of other people, but there's sometimes there are clients that you need to remember that it's okay to drop. I'm just saying, like, if they take up way more of your time than what you're worth, I can think of several that I have right now that I'm having you handle.
Right.
If they're worth more, if they're not worth as much time as you're spending on them, sometimes it really is okay to drop a client.
Or just charge them more.
Or charge them more, unless they're the kind. But if they're taking up more of your time, then normally they're not that kind of client that will be happy with that. So then you have to negotiate that, and then it just it nullifies itself.
I would say, just my opinion would be, rather than drop them, is to just charge them more. And if they're not happy paying more, then them dropping off probably wouldn't be a bad thing.
Yeah. My opinion is just go with your gut.
So there's our little segment of words of wisdom, and I think we're I know we generally start at 7. We start about 7:15 ish.
Yeah, now we're at
We've got
8:30.
about 15 minutes
Hungry.
over. I'm hungry. I'm tired. Shannon's tired. We were both up until 5 o'clock. So we're gonna go through the chats. Do you want to go through the chat real quick, or do you feel like
Well,
that?
I think the best thing tonight said was from, hey, little Jimmy, Matt and Shannon, artsy screen printing what salt and lime is to tequila. Thank you. That's awesome.
That is awesome.
That
So
actually makes me feel really special.
Are there any questions?
Oh, B3 screen printing wants to know how many hours are we planning on having our little part-timer work?
How many hours? You know,
We have no idea.
That's a good question. I'm thinking probably 2 to 3 days, like a full day out of the week. Pay it all depends on pay, really. I think so. I think it's going to come down to pay, and then how much of a workload we have for that week.
Well,
We talked to them and let them know that, you know, there may be days where we're calling them in where we just really need help, but for the most part, we're going to try and stick to a schedule. We're going to have a schedule set way.
Yeah, and if
I think that will be
yeah
beneficial to them and us as well. So that way, we know we have this person during these couple 2 or 3 days.
And if they're not,
this is what they need to do.
Yeah, and if they're done with the graphic design, they can go help out in the shop.
Right.
So.
Yeah, or they could do some marketing stuff for us.
Yeah, they could do some design work for
that. Like there's
a million jobs that we can give them.
There's still marketing things that we want to do, like things that we can include into the boxes that we ship out. Maybe a thank you card or washing instructions, something along those lines. Something to kind of step up like the branding and make a little bit more of an impression. Some of the other things I've been thinking about is our own boxes, because a lot of the boxes we've been getting have been absolute crap.
So bad.
They've been awful.
And then people show up to pick them up, and I actually apologize. I'm sorry. I am not responsible for the condition of this box.
Like, we have a live screen printing event coming up, and I still want that banner put together.
Yeah, I want the banner put together, but our own boxes for that. Ooh.
Well, I don't think we necessarily need boxes for that.
Ooh.
You know all those tiny little boxes that we have? Maybe we can print on those and they can roll up their t-shirt.
Madison was the only one that managed to fit one of them in those.
And toss a t-shirt in it.
Yeah, Madison was the only one that was able to fit one of those, and I think it was an extra small youth.
So there's a lot of little marketing projects that we could easily both think of that we just do not have time to get around to. And this will probably be like, when she starts coming in, Shannon, I think it'd be a good time to like start writing some of those things down. So that way when they come in for a full day and they complete their task, we can have them start working on some of that stuff.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Okay, so Shannon, is there any more?
he saw my face and he just like, she just went.
Yeah.
Boop, boop, boop. I'm done.
All right, so I think that the rest of it's pretty much just kind of chat.
My hair even deflated.
I don't see any other questions. Hey, Roadie Gnome, time to tune up the mat strat. What does that mean?
I don't either.
Is that you wanting me to play the guitar or something like that?
Is asking if the money's even worth it. Are you charging a setup fee for every time you do a job?
Let's see.
That's probably from an earlier
It is worth it. It's worth it when you don't screw up and in this case, I would say.
Sorry, I was in the middle of yawning. I wasn't actually scoffing.
I would say in this case, this contract screen printing client, they're small business like us. Generally, I would say that in most cases, with our contract screen printing, if we've boogered up a shirt or two, if we're honest with them, they provide new shirts to fix, and so
It's all
that
about
really hasn't
honesty,
been
guys.
a whole lot of an issue.
People will actually work with you if you're honest.
Right. I would say in this case we're completely upside down. Even though I know Shannon says it will even out, we're really looking at we're spending money, and if had this been a typical screen printing situation where we're doing something, let's say doubling the cost, the price of the shirt, and plus a screen printing charge, we would still be making money and have money to cover the expenses of the shirts. But in this case, we're kind of SOL.
Yes, in this case, but in the future, it's still a guaranteed client.
It is that I'm not debating that whatsoever.
That's all I'm saying.
I absolutely love working with Angela.
I give her hugs.
The point is just learn from our mistakes, what we've gone through, and decide for yourself if whether something like what we went through, whether that type of work is for you. To us, it is, because it's not every job that we booger something up.
Yeah,
Shit happens.
Matt's like one of the best printers ever. Well, I say that seeing as he's the only printer I've ever
I
seen.
feel like I'm good when I'm completely when I'm well rested, and you know
I know he's doing a good job when he's pleasant.
The shop or the person we're considering hiring is a shop manager, but he's wanting a full-time job. The production manager.
We're still considering him?
No.
Oh.
But what I was saying is when we were considering that route, I still would like to have someone out in the shop. Shannon's tired. Okay,
I'm so sorry. I just yawned. I'm so sorry.
We're both tired. We had a long night printing, and we really appreciate everybody that has tuned in. We're going to get out of here. We need to grab a little bite to eat.
I'm sorry,
and we
guys,
need to catch up.
I can't answer the rest of the questions.
We need to catch up on some sleep as well, so that way we can.
Must be nice to be a dog.
We can hit the rest of the week with plenty of energy, being able to have our focus at full force. So.
Your shirt apparently looks amazingly tired. I'm just gonna say
Shannon.
that. Gus, Matt will get to you if you put it in the questions.
Let's see. So Gus had a question. Where's he at?
You're gonna...
just real quick, having an issue with next level shirts. My square design loses its structure when I pull any device. Yeah. When you put your palette tack down, whatever you're using. Excuse me. Whether you're using spray adhesive or spreadable glue, or if you're using a PMI tape, I would suggest, and this seems like it might be negating putting down that palette tack, is take an old rag t-shirt and dab each one of those palettes and get a little bit of lint built up on there, because what's going on is you're pulling that shirt up and you're peeling it off, and so you're stretching that graphic and the shirt, and that will help you. So all right, everybody, we are going to get out of here. Shannon is going to leave us with a little bit of a joke.
I don't have a joke or a fun fact, but I do have a rhyme.
Okay, let's see what... hold on one second, Shannon. Let me change something real quick. Go for it, Shannon.
Why is it totally on me? That's so scary. I can see it right now.
Hold on. Wait.
I just see a box of pink.
Hold on for a second there. Hold on, Shannon.
No, don't look at me.
Okay, so I'll put it on both of us so Shannon's not. It's not just her. Because obviously you're going to get a great reaction from me. Go for it.
Well, you're handsome.
Shannon.
Okay, so my rhyme apparently for the day is I am a dog and you are a flower. I lift my leg up and give you a shower. Hey, you laughed at that one.
That was actually pretty funny. That was pretty good. Okay, guys. Well, we're going to get out of here.
Bye, guys. Love
Y'all
you,
have a good
hearts.
evening, and we'll see you guys next time, next Monday. Hopefully right on the dot, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Peace.